how they kind of softened up and how they started being receptive.
This your boy E.Wilson JTC is on the
Transition in their faces, how they kind of softened up and how they started being receptive.
This your boy E.Wilson JTC is on the
What's going on, everybody? It's Pastor Paul, once again, your life recovery coach, and I'm actually representing the JTC, and we are on the move. Check it out, guys. I got this awesome special interview with my man, Little E, because you went to the prisons, what, a couple weeks ago?
Last week, 2 weeks ago.
Awesome. So on your way to the prison, how did you feel?
Definitely a lot of nervousness and suspense. I wasn't sure what to expect when I walked in.
Wow. So as you stood back and observed the services, what were you thinking?
I noticed the respect that they were showing my dad. I can tell that they were engaged and what they were speaking, because you could speak to somebody, if not showing that eye contact, you can tell by the body motion, the way that they're sitting, whether or not they're facing towards you or faced off to the side, you can tell whether or not they're engaged. It showed that they were more attentive, they're more appreciative of the opportunity given to them, that somebody came and spoke to them so that they could help better themselves.
So on a level of 1 to 10, okay, what level of respect did these kings have for your dad, E. Wilson?
Definitely that 9 or 10 range. You could tell when they were walking in, how when you greet somebody, whether or not you shake your hand, how if you haven't met somebody before, you shake their hand, you'll give them a little fist bump. But if you know them, you'll dap them up, you'll hug them, and the eye contact. And my dad was talking to them as if he knew, as if he was family with them, as if he was one of their own, as friends, a close bond. Okay.
So you never saw your dad operating behind prison walls, right?
Correct.
You just heard the stories, you saw the videos, and you would just kind of see him through the documentaries, right?
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, what was your thoughts as you watched your pops in action?
Him speaking out in front of the prison was no different than what he's been doing. It was no different than when he was speaking at the hotels and at the group and the guys come together. No different than when he's at the office and the people come together and he's speaking to them. He was speaking to the kings, the inmates, as if he was speaking to people on the outside.
So how do you feel about what your dad has been doing for these kings behind prison walls all these years through JTC, as far as the many visits and him responding to almost 700 letters? How do you feel about that?
It shows how much my dad backs up what he says, and it means of, it's one thing to say that you want to help others, you want to get involved with others, you want to be an inspiration to others, and it's another thing to actually do it. You had people coming up saying how much they respected him more, and the fact that it's one thing to say that you're going to write a letter to somebody, and they said that people would say that they would write a letter. Some of them would type it up, but my dad actually physically hand writes the letters. He said that his handwriting is the best, but the fact that he writes the letters shows how much he cares about what he's doing.
Right. What would you say to any young kid that says, you know what, I want to go to prison because it seems like the cool thing to do?
It's not a place you want to be. You're in a cage. It almost, when I walked in there, it's barbed wire, cage after cage after cage. So, yeah, it's restricted.
So how did you feel when these kings started giving you their ear to listen to what you were saying?
It showed me how much more respect that they had for my dad, that they would respect his son in the same way that they would respected him. As you can, when you feel people looking in the back of your head, you can feel the eyes looking in the back of your head.
You get the little ibby-jibbies.
I felt that when I was standing up there speaking to them, I could feel the eyes looking, and I looked around, people were engaged, they were nodding their heads, and I noticed that when I asked the questions, when you ask questions, it shows that you're more engaged and they were interested as what I was talking about.
That allowed them to see, you know what, it's not just Eric about Eric, it's Eric about helping others, but also teaching his son how to do the same thing.
Yes.
And I believe that's what makes JTC what it is today, right? Is the heart of the matter. All right, guys. So I want to thank you for tuning into this interview with Eric Wilson. I want to thank you, bro, for coming on to this interview and just sharing your heart about what it was like being in the prisons. Is there any final words that you would like to add?
No, just thank you for having me.
Awesome. So you already know, guys, if you're going to have a conversation,
make it a good one.
We out.